Chief Communications Officer at Mississippi State University. I'd like to thank you for joining us today for this very special event. Just a few announcements before we begin. First, today you will hear from Dr. Mark Keenum, President of Mississippi State, who will share with you the results of MSU's national search to choose the university's 17th Director of Athletics. Then you'll hear from our honoree today, who will make his opening remarks. At the conclusion of those remarks, we will immediately transition into a traditional press conference. At that time, our new Director of Athletics will field questions from accredited members of the news media. We ask that members of the audience who are not members of the press please respect this approach, as we have a limited amount of time and want our guests from the media to be able to get the information that they want and need. Likewise, at the conclusion of the press conference, we ask the media to allow our new athletic director to meet and greet members of the Bulldog family. Also, there is another very special event on campus involving a member of our state's congressional delegation that Dr. Keenum must attend, and he will depart this event in time to be punctual for that next event. We ask that all of you help him keep that commitment. At this time, it is my great pleasure to introduce perhaps the most special guest today. I'd like to ask Mrs. Doris Cohen to stand, the mother of our new director. Sister Amy Cohen. Amy, please. We will be joined shortly by Nettie Bloom and her daughter Rachel, John's sister and niece, who will be joining us shortly. But at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the President of Mississippi State University, Dr. Mark Keenum. Dr. Keenum.
We've got a good crowd here this afternoon. I'm very pleased to see all of you here. I want to thank everyone for coming for this wonderful occasion and this great announcement that we're about to make here in just a few moments. I know all of you have been probably watching the process that we've been going through to select a new athletic director. And believe it or not, we did go through a process, regardless of what you may have read in the media. Let me expound on that just a moment. When we learned that we were going to lose Scott Strickland to go to the University of Florida, we knew we had some really big shoes to fill from an athletic director leadership standpoint. And so I reached out to the very same search firm, Parker Senior Executive Search Firm out of Atlanta, Georgia, that worked with us when we went through the same process when we hired Scott Strickland 6 years ago. I want to commend Daniel Parker himself and his staff for the outstanding job that they did over the last several weeks in helping identify quite a number of truly outstanding collegiate athletic directors and senior associate directors from around the nation that I have had the pleasure and the privilege to visit with and talk to and get their vision and their ideas about Mississippi State athletics. It was a very, I can tell you, arduous process, an exhaustive process, and I'm very glad up to this past weekend in talking to candidates. I'm very pleased that we went through such a really, I think, deliberate procedure to select our athletic director that we're here to announce this afternoon. I want to recognize Mickey Holloman. Mickey, I know you may be in the room. Where is Mickey Holloman? Mickey, I want to show our appreciation to Mickey Holloman. As many of you know, Mickey serves as our chairman of our Bulldog Club, which is the philanthropic arm of our athletic program here at the university. And he is a chairman of that very important organization. We had a search advisory committee that had a lot of input on helping us determine the kind of person that we needed to look for our next athletic director. And Mickey also graciously agreed to serve as chairman of our search advisory committee. and sat in with me on many of our interviews with candidates over the last several weeks. Kyle Stewart, who was here. Kyle, where are you? Kyle Stewart. Kyle Stewart, I want to say I appreciate you. Many of you know Kyle Stewart as our university's Director of External Affairs and Governmental Relations, and he too played an integral role in this process throughout all the interviews that we conducted over the last several weeks. I couldn't have done it without their good help and assistance and guidance through this process. And Scott Weatherby, where is Scott Weatherby? I hope he's in the room. Here, where are you at, Scott? I want you to step out also. I want to show our appreciation. This gentleman stepped in and took over the leadership on an interim basis of our department, and we couldn't have had a better person to step in, our Senior Associate Athletic Director to be our interim athletic director. And I know you've only been on the job a short period of time, but my goodness, you've done a lot in your tenure as our athletic director. You're gracious. You took it really seriously, Scott. I appreciate you stepping up. That was a real comfort to me to know that we had someone of your capabilities that could help us. And to all of the athletic department officials that we have here, I want to say publicly thank you for what you do. You know, our university takes great pride in our mission of learning and research and service and what we do for our great state, for this nation, and the work we do globally is tremendous. But athletics is such a major part of any major university like Mississippi State. And how blessed we are to have such outstanding members of our athletic staff, our team, and what you do to help our student athletes perform to the highest capabilities that they have. Our coaching staffs across the board are outstanding. It's because of the support they receive from the members of our athletic department. So thank you so much. You know, not only are you doing your job, let me tell you this, and setting unprecedented success across all of our athletic programs, our 16 teams, but you're making a difference with our student athletes in the classroom. We continue to see our grade point average is a 3.0 plus for all of our student athletes. We accomplished that this past year. It's the first time in our university history that we have our students performing academically at that standard. Earlier, a few weeks ago, I was at the Mississippi Association of Colleges and Universities Association, and for the second year in a row, I got to go and be the recipient representing Mississippi State for the Hallbrook Award, which is given to the women and the men. They give a big trophy to the women athletes or the university that has the greatest success of graduating our student athletes. And for the last 2 years, Mississippi State has won the Hallbrook Award for both the men and the women. Isn't that wonderful? So we're taking care of business with our student athletes and getting them to earning their degree. We want them to obviously work and vie for championships. But to me, when they come across that stage in Humphrey Coliseum with their athlete sash around their neck and they're getting their degree, I know we've accomplished our mission for those student athletes, and our outstanding department is doing that. And it starts with the athletic director all the way down to the coaches and making that a priority to help these young people be successful after they finish their time here at Mississippi State. Well, now it's time to get to why we're all here, and that's to introduce our new athletic director. Well, as I said, we went through a long, exhaustive process. We talked to some really outstanding people, some really outstanding universities, but we kept coming back to John Cohen. He's someone who has been here in our athletic program for over 8 years, leading our highly successful baseball program. But more than just leading our baseball program to College World Series and conference championship and all the things that he's been doing here with great success, He's also been very involved and very active in helping to lead the entire department. He was very involved when Greg Byrne was here. And Greg Byrne, our former athletic director, engaged John. And when I would sit down on numerous occasions with Greg, as I have done over the last 6 years with Scott, many times they would bring this guy into my office to talk to me about some policy provision that they want me to defend or represent when we have our SEC meetings, or when I'm going to appear before the NCAA to represent the interest of not only Mississippi State, but the entire conference. Most of the time, he was in the room. Had nothing to do with baseball, but it was about policies that we needed to be focused on as a university. So he's taken that responsibility very seriously, and that's why he had his title upgraded back this past summer to Associate Athletic Director here at Mississippi State. This is something that he has aspired to do in his career, to someday ascend to a leadership role on a collegiate campus leading an athletic program. And I could see when I talked to him and his preparedness for his interview and understand from him clearly and succinctly his vision for Mississippi State athletics and having success here and building on the trajectory that we're experiencing and enjoying right now. Not to use a pun, but he knocked it out of the park. Okay? Back to hit a grand slam. He did an outstanding job. And in follow-up interviews that we've had and meetings that I had with him, it just reinforced that he's absolutely the best choice. And to help lead our programs, to continue the momentum, continue the success and the foundation that we've built over the past 8 years that I've been here. I'm confident and I'm very convinced that we have found the right leader to lead Mississippi State athletics. And when we met on Monday, we had our last interview session this past Monday, and it became very obvious that he was going to be our next athletic director. I told John, I said, I know you're a very passionate guy, you're a very competitive guy, and I know how much you want to win at all costs, if you will. You want to win, you're driven to win. I said, as much as you want to win, and I would dare say as much as anyone in this room wants to see their beloved Mississippi State win, and our extended Bulldog family throughout the world, I told him, I said, no one wants to win more than I do. I can promise you that. I mean, win. Now, what I asked him to do on Monday was that we have 16 athletic programs here. And I said, John, if when this becomes public, but I want you to commit to me here today, that I want all 16 of our athletic programs here, our men and women, to have the coaches, to have the facilities, to have the resources, to have the support, to be successful on the field, on the diamond, on the court, and in the classroom. I want us year in and year out across the board to be competitive and competing for conference and national championships and winning at conference and national championships. That's all I asked him to do. I think that's pretty reasonable. I hope you agree. Well, with that, I am very honored and very privileged to be able to introduce to all of you our 17th athletic director for Mississippi State University, John Cohen.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. You know, as I look around this room, I realize that I probably need to thank every single person in this room, but I'm not going to do it. But it just suffice to say, I appreciate everybody being here today, and I appreciate all of you, and all of you deserve a thank you. I do want to reiterate what Dr. Keenum said. I want to thank Dr. Keenum, Kyle Stewart, and Mickey Holloman. The way they went through this process was extremely professional. It was extremely organized. And I think all of you would be really proud of the way they went through it. I want to thank Scott Strickland. You know, they say it's really bad business to have one of your best friends as your boss. That probably wasn't the way it's supposed to be. But I'm going to miss Scott. He's special to all of us. Scott was a sounding board for me. He was a friend. He was a confidant. You know, just a really incredible person. And we're all going to miss Scott. And I also want to mention Scott Weatherby. He did a great job as the interim athletic director. As Dr. Keenan mentioned, Jared Bink on our department, Bo Hemphill, all the people, all of our administrators who do such a great job in the athletic department. I really want to thank our baseball staff. For the last month, their life has been very interesting. Our staff has really had to deflect a lot of questions and a lot of comments from really the entire country. When you think about our baseball program, really all of our athletic department teams, we recruit nationally, we compete nationally, and you know, because of the way some things were presented, you know, we had to deflect a lot. I want to thank our team. Obviously, Jake Mangum, Brent Rooker are here. Let's give those guys a big hand. Our team's been through a little bit too, because of all the rumors and all the things that have gone around, and I want to thank them for their patience, the way they've worked at it this fall, and the way that they have stayed focused on their task, and their task right now is the same task it's always been. That's to win a national championship. I just walked by those guys, and I saw them looking out there, and they said, do you think they photoshopped Coach Cohen's smile? Yeah, smile every once in a while. I want to thank our Mississippi State baseball alumni. I want to tell you, we had an event a week ago. On a Friday night, we had 262 people. Now, I just want to mention this really quick. I've been part of 5 different programs. And the biggest weekend I've ever been a part of outside of Mississippi State is about 62 people who would show up for an alumni weekend. It just shows the power of our university, the power of the baseball program, the power of our athletic department, and I appreciate all of our baseball alumni, of which I am one. I want to thank my family. And in fact, the other day, Nell was saying that, she said, you know, we've given away so many cowbells to people, because you all know the tradition of Mississippi State, giving away a cowbell. And she said, you know, I have all these cowbells in the house, John, but none of them are mine. And I said, what do you mean they're not yours? She said, well, nobody's ever given me one. Well, at this moment in time, I'm going to set this record straight. Lee Van Horn, can you come up here for a minute? I'm going to set the record straight. I've been telling recruits for the last 9 years. Tell recruits for the last 9 years, this tradition hasn't changed for a long time. I said, listen, we want you to have a cowbell, but do not, under any circumstances, buy your own cowbell and ring it. You have to give it to somebody else. So I tell the mom and dad, please don't let this young man start off on the wrong foot at Mississippi State. But now, I want to give this to you in front of everybody. You finally have your own cowbell. Moment, there are 2 little creatures in the world. One of them's in Virginia and one of them's in California. They're my daughters, and they're watching this, I think, live. And I want to tell those guys how much I love them. I wish they could have been here. They wanted to know about this a little bit earlier than we told them. But we're going to see them soon enough, and so proud of those guys and what they're doing. Jordan, Avery, Cohen. As mentioned before, my mother's here. from that town just across the border in Alabama, along with my sister Amy. I don't know if Nettie's made it. Yeah, well, why don't you guys stand up? My sister Nettie and her daughter, Rachel recently just crossed over the dark side. She just graduated from law school. That's the family business. You know, I remember my father for the longest time really wanted me to go to law school. He wanted all of us children to go to law school. He wanted me to go to law school. And of course, I was in the coaching profession, and I was making exactly, I remember this, it was $318 a month when I got into coaching. And we didn't spend it all in one place. But I was making $318 a month, and my father said, hey, how about law school? My father was supportive, so was my mother. How about law school, John? And she kept saying, how about law school? So finally, about 3 or 4 years into my coaching at the University of Missouri, my wife Mel said, hey, I got this. So she went to law school. She went to law school for a year at the University of Missouri, so that made my father very happy. If not, you know, the son, then the daughter-in-law. My in-laws, Diane Baker, Homer Baker, and Emily Baker, they couldn't make it here today, but they're watching, obviously. The support that they've given has been amazing throughout this entire process. There's one guy who's probably not watching that I really want to thank. He's the reason I'm at Mississippi State. That's a gentleman by the name of Ron Polk. Ron Polk is the reason I came here. He's the reason a lot of baseball players came to Mississippi State. Probably the reason why a lot of students came to Mississippi State. He was a great influence on my life. He's somebody who brought me here. Such a positive influence, a great man, and really helped shepherd the modern era of Southeastern Conference baseball. We will always be deeply appreciated. Also want to mention really quickly Pat McMahon, who gave me my first coaching job at Southeastern Conference. Pat has been like a brother to me, a mentor, just a tremendous human being. Gene McCarter. I want to recognize, too, Mr. Larry Templeton. I just saw him back in the room. Larry Templeton was the athletic director at Mississippi State when I came to school here, and one of his best friends in the world is a guy named Gene McCarter, and he just had to make a couple of calls, and Gene McCarter, I want to say it's been, how long has it been? A long time. 25 years ago, Larry Templeton called his good friend Gene McCarter, and somehow, some way, he talked him into hiring me, which I don't understand how any of that happened, but I'd love it if everybody gave Larry Templeton a big hand. So thanked a lot of folks, and that's where I'm going to stop, even though I should thank everybody in here again. And I apologize, I'm going to miss people, and I apologize for that. I guess the question I need to answer is this. The first question Dr. Keum asked me is, why? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to leave really one of the great jobs in all intercollegiate sports, being the head baseball coach at Mississippi State University? And I have to go back to this. I have to go back to some incredible mentors that I had at the University of Missouri. Joe Castiglione, the athletic director, was a mentor. I went to Northwestern State of Louisiana. I was 30 years old. I was one of the youngest coaches in Division I baseball, and Greg Burke took me under his wing. I learned so much from him. I learned so much from Jeremy Foley and Greg McGarity, who's now the athletic director at the University of Georgia. When I was at Florida, those guys were great mentors. I just kept finding myself gravitating toward those athletic directors, those guys who would share information and talk about the future of intercollegiate athletics. And I have to admit to you, I got hooked. And it didn't stop when I got to Mississippi State University. Greg Byrne hired me. Obviously, Scott Strickland took over for him. I've had great mentors, including Dr. Keenum, who have really sparked my interest in becoming an athletic director. And that's really why I'm here. So that's a big part of the why. Priorities. What's priority number one? Priority number one is we got to go get us a baseball coach. And I want to tell you what I told our team. I told our team this. I said, you're not going to get a coach as good as John Cohen. You're going to get a coach that's better than John Cohen, and I mean that. And we're on that job right now. I know there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of social media going on, and I think really shortly that's going to come to pass, and we're going to be all very, very pleased with the direction our program has taken. I know our players are phenomenal people who make great grades. They come from great families. And this will be a seamless transition because that's the kind of people they are. From the very moment they become a part of our program, they wear little bands. We don't give them bats the first day. We don't give them hats. We don't give them T-shirts. We don't give them shorts. The very first day, they get a little band that they wear on their wrist, and it says FIO. Well, fellas, this is a big FIO. We're all going to figure this out, and it's going to be a seamless transition. And Mississippi State is going to win a national championship in the sport of baseball. And as Dr. Kia mentioned before, we're going to compete for national championships in all sports, as we have in past years. But that's going to happen in baseball. I really believe that. The last thing I want to mention to all of you before I take questions, I want to tell you how much I love this place. And I want to tell you what it's like to host 262 people last Friday and have them go around this campus and say, John, I haven't been back here in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We had a man who was 99 and a half years old who came from Carlsbad, California, who had fought in 3 wars, a Purple Heart recipient. He looked me dead in the eye and he said, I just can't believe how far Mississippi State has come. And I can tell you this, all of our people recognize that, and we got to keep going in that direction, athletically and every part of this university, and that's what we're here to do. That's what I look forward to doing, is serving this great university in every capacity. So thank you for being here. I'm going to entertain some questions. I know a lot of you probably have to get back to work, but thank you so much for being here, and I'll hand it off to any questions that any of you all have.